kingdom people, they hate that you know who they are. They hate that you know who they are. Who am I talking about? Kingdom people, I'm talking about these witches, even the warlocks. Listen, I was just not long ago, I had went to lunch with a agent, a realtor. Once we both got done with the open house, we met up, went to have lunch, and we were talking. And she asked me something. She asked me a question that made me say, well, in my experience, I remember what it was. We were talking about some kind of way I was sharing with when I first got on the journey of wanting to do real estate. And I was mentioning how at the time I was married to the person I was married with. And throughout just sharing whatever, it just kind of came up some kind of way that this person, I've learned that this person was into witchcraft. And I kind of mentioned how it started was with this person's niece. I was aware that they were doing it. And so she was like, they do that? And then them being African. And I was like, it's very common in their country. Not that everybody does it, but it's very common. It's something that they do. And I was telling her it's very common here too. It ain't got to be African people just doing this stuff. It's like almost normal. And it is normal for some people because it's just what they do. So she was just like, her eyes were big and her mouth was open because she was like, really? I'm like, yes. So I was sharing with her some experiences, and I was saying how, because I know what it is, it really don't have no power over me. And I was explaining to her before I knew, it did affect me some, but not really, because God was covering me and protecting me. But as I became aware of it, it don't have no power because I know what it is. And she was just really like amazed, and she was asking questions about it, and it was very interesting to me because before I went into it, I hesitated before I start speaking on it. I kind of hesitated because, you can't be talking about this kind of stuff with anybody. But I have the tendency, with just different things, to stop for a second and just check in with God to see if it's okay for me to go here. And every time God moves me to go where I check in to see if it's okay, the person be receptive. So, listen. After I had this conversation with her, and we left the restaurant and everything, and I'm riding, and it's just on my spirit, God had to take me back to one of the witches that used to live downstairs from me, and now it's a new one. I was sharing this with the lady too. She's actually an older lady, but how God had brought to my attention how when that lady was down there, she didn't know I knew who she was. She didn't know I knew the things that she was doing. She didn't know. She didn't know I knew. Now, something had happened where she was no longer down there, but come to find out she was still in the building. Something had happened down there on that floor where some people down there had to move out. It flooded or something. What I learned when I learned that is because of the witchcraft she was doing. And so she was still in the building. I happened to run into her. It's been some time ago now, but I happened to run into her in the elevator. And she called us up speaking to me, and I ain't say nothing. I shared that with you all when it had happened back then when it did. So I seen her again after that, and she was on my floor. And I was at the elevator, my daughter and I, and around the time my daughter had needed to, we were both wearing masks actually, because it was around a season where a lot of people in the community had the what and whatever else. So we were wearing our masks. And she didn't have hers on, so I turned back around. I said, oh no, I noticed that she didn't have it on. I said, oh no, we got to go back and get it. So we was walking back. The lady was standing there by the elevator, and as we was walking back, I just blurted out and was like, because it's a lot of stuff out here. You got to be careful. And I was like, and this wicked witch over here, it was just like, it came out. And I said something around her being a witch. And I said it loud enough for her to hear. I mean, I said it openly. So God had brought all that back to me after I had this conversation with this young lady. And he was showing me how I ain't seeing her no more. And God said it's because she's gone. And she's gone because she was exposed. I kind of knew that already. But when God said it to me, he said she's gone because she was exposed. I knew who she was, who she is, and what she had been doing. Now, the other part of that is that she don't know how, that means that she don't know how long I've been knowing. And that was like scary for her. I heard a young man this morning, he was speaking on once you wake up to who you are and what they're doing to you, that's it. It kills any power. It kills any effect it can have. Now, I knew this already, but he spoke on it. He added to that how once they know, they got to go because they're exposed. So it kind of went hand in hand with what God, like, he brought all that back to my attention when he told me, when he brought old girl back to my attention. So I'm saying all that to say, kingdom people, they don't like that you know who they are. They don't like it because it exposes them and it kills any effects, any power that what their witchcraft could have on you. And they know it. Now here's the kicker. When you know who and what they are, but they don't know necessarily that you know who and what they are, it kills their power. Why? Because you know. Now, when they know, it exposes them. In other words, they have to go run and hide. They got to get away from you. They got to go. Because not only do they know, do they feel exposed, do they know that what they're trying to do is not work on you, they know it's getting ready to come back and tear their behinds up. Now, it already be doing that. But once they know, they be shaking in their boots, kingdom people, for real, because they know they know. So they know, or they hate that you know. They hate when they know, when they realize you know who they are and what they be on. Now I'm gonna say this, because sometimes they know that you know that they ain't right, but they don't. It's different when they know that you know that they full of witchcraft, that this is what they practice. That's something different. Because a lot of times, kingdom people, we be moving around these people, so they know we know that they ain't right. We know that they got some wickedness going on. They know we know they trying to run game on us or whatever. We peep game. But sometimes what they don't know is that we know they are witches and warlocks. They don't be knowing that. They don't be knowing that we know all that. But when they do know that we know, when they realize that we know, all bets are off. They gotta go. And that's why they hate when you know who they are. Because now they gotta scramble. I just had a vision of roaches scrambling. You know how when you come into place and turn on the light where their roaches are, and the roaches be scrambling and trying to get out of Dodge. That's just how they are too. They're like roaches. Because remember, they hide in the dark. They do their dirty work in the dark. But when that light come on, which is you, and they realize you know, they get to scrambling. They gotta go. And when they gotta, here's the other part to that, kingdom people. Once they know you especially, that actually strips them of any power that they had in doing that witchcraft. In other words, it don't work no more on nobody. You know how we often hear that they'll go on to the next person or whatever. It ends with you, kind of people. They can't go on to the next person, and they know it. See, they usually go on to the next person after they done handled their business where they are. They can't handle their business with you because they can't get past you, because they can't defeat you. They can't take you out. They stuff don't work on you. So they can't go on to the next person. It's not business as usual. It ain't business. It's no longer business as usual. In fact, they get stripped of their witchcraft power. It don't work no more. And if they even try to do it on somebody, if they even think about trying to see if it worked, listen, God gonna let them have it. He does let them have it. I'm hearing he slaughters them. So much so that they be scared to even, they end up knowing that their power has been stripped. And they know it's all because you know who they are. God uses you to shine the light, shine the truth on who they are, and to strip them of their witchcraft power. Kingdom people, they hate that you know who and what they are.